the shop with the Bronson. Today, we're testing out a ChatGPT setup. Just trying to see if AI can possibly make a pretty good setup. Going into this, I think it might be pretty funny. We'll see if it makes a bad setup or a good setup, but I'm expecting it not to be 100% there. But maybe it'll surprise us. Let's see. In the port, it told us to run 77 psi with 2 spacers, 9 clicks of low speed rebound, 5 clicks of high speed rebound, 10 clicks of low speed compression, and 6 clicks of high speed compression. All of these are from fully closed, and that does not seem very far off. The only difference from my setup is about 8 psi lower and has 1 spacer more. It's a little less compression than what I usually run. It's a little slower rebound than what I usually run. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. It doesn't seem too crazy off though. And then the shot, got 180 psi, 1 token, 10 clicks of low speed rebound, plus 1 high speed compression, plus 2 low speed compression, and middle HBO setting. Now, that is pretty dang close to what I usually run. I usually run right at 180 psi, 1 token, maybe a click or 2 faster rebound, and a little bit less low speed, but that's exactly it. And we also asked it what tire pressure we should run for the tires. I got downhill Continental triple talls, and it told us to run 21 psi in the front, 24 in the rear. I usually run about 23 in the front, and 25 in the rear. So it'll be interesting to see how lower tire pressure will run. And let's take it to the trails.
What up? We're out at Centennial testing the AI setup. First time I've even pedaled it, so let's see how it feels. It feels really balanced, honestly. I'm very impressed so far. I'm a little worried that the front is gonna be too soft on the compression side. So far, I'm giving ChatGPT a high rating for setting up bicycles. I don't think I've ever ran this low of tire pressure either, so see how that goes. So far, front end already feels pretty supple. Let's drop in. Oh yeah. First lap on the ChatGPT setup. Honestly, I thought it was going to be pretty silly. I thought it was going to give me a setup that was going to be completely wrong, and I'd ride it, I'm like, ew, this sucks. And we laughed about how much AI sucks. But that was some really good feelings. I'm not gonna lie. It's not even that different from my normal setup, but felt very just supported, balanced, pretty cush. Didn't bottom out at all. Tires felt good too. Still a little, I had one moment where it got a little squirmy, but overall, I'm liking this more than my regular setup. That's saying a lot. The weirdest thing about this setup, in my opinion, is the lack of compression in the front and the amount of compression in the rear. It's got maxed low speed compression in the shock and pretty low compression on both circuits in the front, and somehow it feels pretty balanced so far. I almost like how it kind of puts your weight a little more forward and almost makes it feel a little more centered. Feels pretty good. This next trail we're about to do, it's called Chunky, and it lives up to the name. So we're really gonna see if this setup can handle some big hits. Drop it in there. Alright, the bike felt pretty good on that. Might have had a little bit of a rearward bias, felt like. It was a little interesting, but didn't really do anything too weird. I feel like the front end gets a little nervous sometimes. Might be from the lack of compression. I almost want to add a couple clicks to the front, I guess. Maybe add a couple PSI to the rear. But for now, we're just gonna ride it as is. Not be changing stuff too quickly. I want to do this whole ride without changing a setting to really make sure I feel the differences and understand how it rides. So far, been handling stuff pretty well. Control. The one major difference I feel on this setup is probably the 2 tokens on the fork. I did try 2 tokens on the fork before, and I honestly didn't like it, so I put 1 back in. Now we're back on it because they told us to. And it doesn't feel bad. Haven't had the same feelings I've been getting that the other one was. I think it's because before I had no tokens in the rear shock, so it kind of felt imbalanced. and the fork was diving when the shock wasn't. But now they kind of fall into the travel together and almost give me a lower center of gravity in turns, a little more plushness. Feels pretty grippy. Also got the lower tire pressure, so that helps a little bit. I think something this setup has been done pretty well is not deflecting. It'll kind of squirm every now and then when it gets loaded, but going through chatter, it really tracks and feels like it's on a straight line. Oh. I think that's partially because of the slightly slower rebound. Doesn't feel too slow. Still have a good bit of still has a good bit of return. Doesn't feel too sluggish. All right, jump in Hail Mary. Got some good chunks and good turns. See how it ends. Oh my gosh! About blew everything up there. Oh yeah. Right, for that trail, felt pretty dialed as well. Not gonna lie. There's that one moment at the top where my rear wheel got hung up really hard, but that was more of my line choice than anything else. And it felt really good up until then. I think it's what it really does good at is a little bit of suppleness and really generating grip in those loose turns. You can really feel the grab. It's very nice. I think partially that is tire pressure, as I've said. But overall, it feels like the whole bike kind of sits down into the turns and just hooks. And I can still maneuver really well. One sensation I have been getting a couple times is a little bit of a buck off some of those rock lips. The rebound doesn't really feel too high or anything. I think it's more honestly the compression off those lips not sitting down. Shock isn't sitting into it as much as I would expect, so just something to get used to. I don't think it's necessarily a problem. Over time, I'll probably get more used to it and it not catch me out. Flatter trail. See how the bike really turns it up. Oh my God. Oh yeah, felt good. A lot of stuff around morning, buddy. That last lap felt pretty good. Feel like it does just have a lot of grip, and it goes through the chatter pretty dang good. There's a couple moments I feel like it definitely does squirm on some landings or like pushing into a turn real hard. I'd maybe want to run maybe a little more tire pressure in the front or a little bit more compression in the front. That's honestly my only gripe right now. It feels really good everywhere else. So, yeah. I wanted to do this section one more time just to highlight how buttery it feels through here. That's honestly the best the suspension has ever felt. I promise I'm not glazing ChatGPT. It just actually is working. Alright, it's getting dark out here. Making it way back to the car. Just wanted to show y'all the only adjustment I'm going to do to this setup. 1, 2, 3. That's all I've done on this whole ride, and that's all I'm gonna do for now. This trail is just a traverse. It's got some good turns though. It's pretty flowy, pretty flat for the most part though. Got a good gap right here. That's really good. Dang, it is darker than I thought. Feeling fast. Oh, cannot see very well. Feels poppy everywhere I want it to. Feels grippy everywhere I want it to, honestly. Just gas into that burn. Whew. That's actually crazy. It felt very supportive on that whole trail. It felt like it would have been harsh on any rock. But whew, when we get into the rough stuff, it holds it real good. That's crazy. Okay, just climbing back to the car now. And what I'm leaving with is that this setup is going to be my new baseline setup. I did not think coming into this that the ChatGPT setup was going to feel better than what I had worked for before on this bike. Actually crazy. The suspension just feels so balanced, so reactive when I need it, and then so supportive on the less chunky stuff. Only adjustment I had to do is 3 clicks of low speed. I might go up PSI and tire pressure next time I ride, but that's just the trails of riding. I think on a really loose, dry, or really wet day like this setup will eat. Even on a normal hard pack day, I would probably just bump up the pressures in the tires a couple PSI and call it good. So impressed. Not glazing ChatGPT, but it did do a good job for this particular thing. I mean, he asked me some things just blatantly wrong, but today literally just asked it, how should I set up my Fox 38 with 160 millimeters of travel on a rider that is 165 pounds with the riding gear. It told me those exact settings. All I did was add 3 clicks of compression on the last trail. Same thing with the rear shock. Literally told it size of my shock, the bike it was on. Gave me very specific settings. I had to talk to it a little bit to make sure it was telling me from the middle position, because it kept telling me like 6 clicks of compression, which wouldn't even make sense on the Vivid. So I eventually got it to spit out +2 low speed. So I eventually got it to spit out settings that actually made sense. And I didn't argue with it. Just put it on the bike, and boom. Didn't even touch a single click on the shock. Pretty impressive. The most interesting thing was that it ran really high compression for my body weight on this shock. Normally I'd run middle or even low because I'm somewhat a lighter mid-range rider. I only weigh 155 pounds without my gear, so it was interesting that it added that little bit of compression. Maybe it knows that this tune is a little light. Very interesting. I don't know how it would know that, but it did something. Yeah. So overall, just if you're gonna use ChatGPT to get your setup, be very specific. Make sure it's giving you settings that make sense. And dude, just try it out. I bet for some suspension it doesn't work. It doesn't have the knowledge on that, but for whatever reason, on this setup, it did great. ChatGPT doing good for once. Sick. Heading back to the car. Whew. Pretty dark out. Good ride today. Peace out, y'all. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Thank y'all.